All right, it looks like we've kind of hit a critical mass. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's been, I think, 3 or 4 weeks since our last meeting. And since then, the working group has already started creating a specification for the peer-to-peer mempool. So I thought it'd be appropriate for today's meeting, to get a quick update on what that specification looks like, what work is looking ahead. And I asked Partha from the EtherSpot team, who's really been taking the lead on the notes and everything for the core working group, to give a quick summary to kick us off.
Yeah. Thanks, John. So just to give you an update, we've had 2 meetings among the working group, and we finalized on the stack that would be used for P2P communication. A choice was between using Dev P2P, which is used in execution layer clients, or Lib P2P, which was favored by consensus clients. But given that, we went ahead and chose Lib P2P as the communication protocol for bundler services as well, for several reasons. One being because it was mode for consensus. Secondly, a wider support for Lib P2P across various languages, given that we have teams building bundler software in Python, Node, JS, Go, even Rust. So we wanted to have a support for as many languages as possible. In line with consensus client protocol, we've stuck with the same encoding scheme of SSZ rather than RLP, which was used in execution layer clients, and we'd be using noise protocol as well. We've also finalized on the domains, the message types that will be used in gossip sub, as well as request response. You have a working or draft version of the protocol specification already available at EAT Infinitism website, but I would insist that it's still in draft. I believe there's probably a bit more work to be done, which hopefully would be complete by the next week, and then it can be circulated to a wider audience seeking their comments. Thanks, John, for sharing that email. What's pending is to finalize on the structure of the ENR records that would be the structure of the ENRs that will be used by bundler software, and also then come up with certain test suits which would need to be supported, or each bundler software which is looking to make themselves compatible with this or to support those test suits as well. So that's a brief of the status we have at the moment.
Great, excellent. Yeah, thank you. What are some of the major decisions you have coming up, or points that you think there might be some contention about, or do you feel that the track is fairly straightforward right now? Oh, Partha, you're on mute.
Sorry. I wouldn't say there's anything major contentious at the moment. There is still some work, or rather some clarification or clarity sought on a couple of things, especially how the JSON structure of what we call as the Mempool ID, which is going to be the topic of subscription for all bundlers. I've pushed a draft version. Yov and others would be reviewing it. Yov is on the call. If he has anything to add, maybe he can do so. But yeah, at the moment, I don't see anything, a major point of contention.
Okay, great, awesome. Are there, maybe this is a question for Yoav and Dror, but I know that the EIP is undergoing an audit right now. Have there been, what is the status of that audit, and are there, any things that we would expect to change in the specification for the bundler overall, not just the peer-to-peer mempool?
So the audit is still going, and so far I'm not aware of any changes that would affect bundlers.
Okay, awesome, great. What I guess for bundler teams, like teams currently working on bundler clients, I would love to hear what the status of like the developments of like each of the major bundler clients is. So like for StackUp, Hizim is not on this call today, but he is working on integrating MEV-Boost for our own like internal use for DOS protection. But otherwise, we're more or less up to date. Partha, how is like development going on like Ether spots?
Yeah, we are making our bundlers compatible with the test suites that were already released. So it's right now still in private beta testing. We should hopefully have things ready by next week. Release an open source version of the bundler thing once we are comfortable with the test compatibility.
Sweet, awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that. Vid, I know you're working on the Rust version. How are things going there?
Yeah, so we had a lot of progress in the last 2 weeks. So the reputation part is done. Now we are just testing, and sanity checks are mostly done. And now we are just doing this simulation testing with the JavaScript tracer. So, and Will, who is also on the call, is integrating this test to the repo. So still some weeks left before the first version can be run on the test.
Sweet, excellent. Yeah, is there anyone else working on bundler client that wants to share what their status is? As far as I know, those are the three that are the furthest ahead, but I know that some of the individual wallet teams like Mark over at Candide, I know you guys were working on your own and some others.
Yeah, I can share, and I think Sharif can add more as well. So we've made progress in the event bus implementation in Python for our bundler, because this is what we're going to be using for the communication of non-blocking async IO. And I can let Sharif add as well some of the things if he can unmute here.
Okay, cool. Sheriff, I saw you unmuted. Were you going to say something?
Don't think we can hear you, Sharif.
Okay, if you have something to say, since we can't hear you, you can type it into the chat. Okay, great, awesome. Are there any new bundlers that have popped up since our last meeting? It seems like every day I find out about someone who's like building in the space that I had never heard of, which is like, which is awesome. All right. I'll take that as a no. It's okay if you don't want to share yet. Sharif, no problem. You can type in the chat what you want to say, and I'll read it out to everyone. Okay, great. Well, in the meantime, are there any points of discussion that like people want to, that people want to share, or otherwise, questions that you have that we can go over since we have everyone here? Man, last meeting was like an hour and a half of content, and this meeting is going to be like 15 minutes long. It's amazing.
And hopefully a year from now, we won't have anything to say about bundlers. It will just be the infrastructure.
Yeah. That's good. Well, I love boring meetings, so glad to have it. Okay, excellent. So Ahmed, I saw your message that you're just, trying to, understand what's out there first. I also see that there's a couple new faces in this call as well. There are a couple resources that list what the various like implementations and things that people are working on. There's a few different instances of an awesome account abstraction repo that gives just like a bullet point list of the different projects in the space. I can see if I can find one of those versions, but if you go into the 4337 Mafia group, or potentially even in the 4337 bundlers Telegram chat, you can find a link to that.
Maybe we have to have a separate repo specific for bundler implementations. I don't know, within the Mafia group, or I don't know, somewhere. An easy lookup so that everybody is aware what's out there.
Okay, so what we did as the count abstraction team, we basically created not only the test suite, but we also have, we will have at least soon a dashboard that you could see which bundlers passed which tests, and it will also include links, obviously, for all the bundler implementations, the repos on GitHub that passed the test. And yeah, so I think that could be also a place that you could see which bundlers are actually compatible and in progress.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, the idea is that that any bundler will be able to add itself. Just add a repo, and then you can automatically pass the tests and be added to the list.
Right.
Sweet.
Yeah, just create a pull request, right?
Cool. And Sharif added, it took them some time to come up with the best architecture for the bundler using Python and async IO, but we have made good progress and we have passed a part of the tests. Awesome. Sweet. One thing I'm hoping is that by the time ETH Denver comes around, and this is probably too aggressive because it's in it's this month, is like to have a couple bundler implementations, and we can, the audit probably won't be done by then, will it, Yoav? Because that would be like the most amazing thing.
Well, I can't commit on behalf of the audit, but
yeah.
But the plan is to have it before ETH Denver. So don't take my word for it, but that's the plan.
Okay, great. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna quote you on that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Wonderful.
Just trying to understand, are any other implementers trying to, have their own version of the entry point contract in place, apart from the default one by the core team? If so, how open are the teams to supporting, a separate mempool for these across teams as well? The implementation for the P2P is more specific to the canonical mempool, but this is a question for every one out here. Would they be open to support non-standard mempools as well?
I think it would make sense to start with the canonical one, even if later you add more, because having a mempool with exceptions, with exceptions to some rules, will require also auditing it. It's because it gives up some of the protections, and since a bundler that participates in an alternate mempool will also participate in the canonical one, it's just an additional one. I will focus on getting the first mempool going first. Or did you mean something? Or did you mean?
No, I was just trying to understand if the teams would be open for that. Otherwise, we might end up with a centralized pocket of an alternate mempool too. Which is something we ideally wouldn't want to, right? There might be specific use cases where an alternate Mempool makes sense because each of these project implementations might have their own needs or use cases where they would prefer an alternate entry point contract. So at the same time, we don't want these user operations to be stuck in a centralized entity. We'd ideally like to maintain the same decentralized version of user ops, so that in case one network goes down, there could be others to pick up and not censor those user operations.
Of course. Just that, when a bundler joins an additional mempool, an alternate mempool, it needs to check the properties of this mempool, because it could put the entire bundler at risk. Like if you're participating in two mempools and one of them enables a DOS attack against you, then the bundler can become non-operational for both mempools.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it is a call that the team, the implementing team should take. But yeah, I'm just trying to understand if they're open to do that.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, from StackUp's perspective, I mean, we're just focusing on the canonical mempool, and the other applications will come as they are, and we'll see where things are. But there's enough to do just with the single canonical mempool. Like, great, excellent. Does anybody have any additional comments, questions, grievances, concerns? If not, we can wrap up early. Sweet. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Just like last time, I will write up these notes, add them to the repo, and send them out. I'll also upload a recording. Oh, Ruben, you raised your hand.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm from Nethermind. I'm just starting looking at account abstraction. And my concern is although there are a lot of implementations of libp2p, but there is none for .NET. So we're going to implement this from ground up, and this will take time.
We have a question from Ahmed. Are there any public repos on account abstraction from Nethermind? I've only seen the landing page.
Well, we have some for already, say, obsolete implementation of account abstraction in Nethermind client. That's in Nethermind repo. So I presume the EIP is changed since we implemented it. And yeah, I mean, we have to catch up with the EIP, and in my understanding, we also have to have this libp2p implementation ready to move forward. That's a bit challenging for us, but we just started working on libp2p.
Gotcha, understood. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We will see you next time. And of course, if you've got any questions, we have the ERC-4337 bundler group in Telegram, as well as, various other, there's Discord, and there's like a million different ways to chat with the community. But I guess we can keep a bundler chat to the Telegram group. Sweet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Yeah, bye.